If taking 100% of what someone produces by their labor is slavery, at what percentage is it not slavery? This was an idea proposed to me by Joel Salatin after he attended a Red Bull conference, which I would like to someday. Sounds like a tremendous thing, but it's an interesting question. You know, it's essentially to say that we are not independent beings participating in society through our own volition, that we are, forced participants in society, that we are in some sense slaves to our own government. We are slaves to our own creation. And I think there's really some truth in that, because what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Well, if you live in a state that has property tax, if you don't pay your taxes, the government comes and they take your property. If you live in a state that has an income tax and you don't pay your income tax, what does the government do? They come and they take all your income away. So you never really own what it is you produce. You don't get to participate in this system voluntarily. Our government was originally set up to operate and be funded via tariffs. And that was, so essentially, from a conceptual standpoint, ultimately you pay taxes on foreign goods, but you didn't pay taxes on foreign goods. It's just that the price of the good was a little bit higher because the government taxed it before it got to you. So, it's a little bit different in a way, but conceptually, it's sort of a passing down the expense thing. And it's an interesting question to me. If you have to pay property tax, do you ever really own any of your property, or does the government own it, and are you just leasing it from the government? I would say that you are. I would say that you are just leasing your property. I would say that you are, enslaved through the tax on your income. Now, if taxes were different, if taxes were something that you voluntarily contributed to, so, you have taxes to cover your fire, so the fire department will come out and put out your house if it catches on fire, taxes to cover the police force, and so on and so forth. And if you could choose to contribute voluntarily in these things, so, okay, if in the event that I need the police, I want them to come, so I'm going to pay my police tax. If I have my house catch on fire, I want the fire department to come, so I'm going to pay my fire department tax. And I enjoy the roads, I enjoy having good roads, so I will choose to pay road tax. That is a voluntary system. That is a system in which the individual is empowered to make their own decisions. In the system that we have right now, the individual has no empowerment. All the empowerment lies in the representatives, who are very often seeking their own interests, rather than the interests of those that they represent. Now, not to say that there are not good representatives who represent their constituents well, but, career politicians tend to lose sight of the prize, or lose sight of the original goal, shall I say. And not all of them, but, it is what it is. Humans are very self-focused in a lot of ways. So it's kind of an interesting thought experiment. Taxation is theft. Now, I've heard another idea. Joel expressed this idea to me as well. And it was this. It was, since, you pay taxes, but you have no control over what happens to the money after you pay it. You're just forced to pay it. Otherwise, people with guns come and they enforce taxes upon you. So, his idea was this, or at least what he expressed to me. I don't know if it was his original or not. It was have categories such as defense, education, salaries, roadways, welfare, fill in the blank. Have categories. And you have to pay taxes. Say you have to pay 10% income tax. Just making it up. 10% income tax. But you get to choose what category your money goes to, or how you want your money divided between categories. So that you get to vote essentially with your dollar as to what is important to you as far as, government action is concerned. And I thought that was a pretty interesting idea. Thought there could be some real merit to that. And of course, there's this concept of having to be a net producer in order to vote. It used to be you had to be a landowner or a business owner to vote. And we're no longer an agrarian society, so that the landowning thing is kind of less applicable. But you had to be someone of means, someone of some means in order to vote. And oh man, traffic is not looking good here. But you had to have some means. You had to be somebody to vote. And it's kind of hard to work that same system, or it would be to work that same system into our modern electoral system. But what you could do is say that you have to provide an income tax return to demonstrate that you are a producing member of society in order to vote. So if you are a net detractor from society, so if you are on welfare, if you're on a fixed income, if you, maybe not even fixed income necessarily, depending upon the situation, if you are not a net producer, you are a net liability, not an asset, you would not get to participate in the electoral system. Because since you are not paying for anything, you are being paid for, you should not get to determine what other people have to pay, since you don't pay. And I think that there's some real merit to that. I really like that idea. I really like the concept of that. It's very appealing to me. It's very interesting. I like it. I think it could work. I think it could be made to work. Because you have federal income tax anyways, so you pay that anyways. It wouldn't be that difficult to implement, it wouldn't seem. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Drop me a comment. Make a video response. Give this a like if you want to. Like I said, comment and subscribe if you'd like. If you'd like to hang out with me some more. Until we meet again, peace.